Hi guys, it's Stephanie here from Hickorycroft Farm. Today I'm going to share my recipe for, well, I say it's just the recipe I've been making for purslane relish. We're going to start out in the garden. As you can see, it's kind of funny actually. A lot of people wander around our gardens and comment on the weeds we have growing. It's actually the purslane. We let it grow wherever it grows because we love the relish. Purslane is an excellent weed. It's full of nutrients. It's high in omega-3s. It definitely has a different taste to it. I find a different texture. It's definitely worth a try. We never pull the weeds out. We even have actually planted purslane seeds in some of the buckets that we have going. Maybe I'll show that a little bit later. But yeah, I'm just going to kind of take you step by step through the process. This is my 5th batch this year that I've been making, and it just seemed like might as well share it because we love it a lot, and I'm sure you will too. But anyways, I'm going to go work on some picking here and cutting and collect up. Basically, we need 4 cups for a batch. 4 cups, that's processed. So I usually find I have my handy dandy big stainless or whatever silver bowl. I don't know, I'm not technical. And I usually basically just try and fill it. Some recipes that I've read online call for only using the stems or stalks. I find I put it all in. I do tend to take out any wilted leaves. I'll just cut a piece here. Not sure, you probably can't see me when I bend down. Just to give an example, we're getting to the end of the season for the purslane. A lot has already gone to flower, but it's still usable, still good. We're going to go for one more batch. So I'll just hold this up here. Not sure. We'll see if you can see it. If not, we can always edit. You can see here we've got some of the leaves are just kind of wilted and going. It's been a very, very dry year, which may also partially influence that, because I was taking off the seed part. On this particular batch, I am going to leave it because I did a little bit of research, of course, before I did my video. I wanted to be informed so I could inform you. And apparently the seeds have very, very high nutrient value and the omega-3s. So I may have been going wrong by taking them out. So we're going to leave it in on this batch and just see. I can't see that there's going to be any change in taste. But we had just been taking the seeds and I'd been breaking them off and putting them, so you can see here they pop right away in this little black seeds, and I'd just been scattering them in the garden for next year. So I'm sure we'll have a lot of purslane already for next year, so I'm going to leave them in on this batch, and we'll go from there. So I'm just going to quickly gather up my bucket here, toss them in, and we'll take them inside, clean them up. You can see here, this is just in a strawberry patch that we just planted this year. It's not doing fantastically, but it's been a dry year and we've been trying to keep it going. But there's a really nice patch of purslane there that I'm going to harvest today. And we also have a batch here growing. It's starting to go to flower in our eggplants, which actually is still looking really good. You want a lot of the stems, and the stems are looking very, very nice right now. Here we have one that I'm going to just leave, potentially feed to the rabbits. It's too far gone. This is a bed that didn't have anything in it, so we haven't been watering it. It's kind of been just left to survive on its own. So we are going to harvest this big batch here and the stuff in the strawberries today. And I'm just going to give, while I have the camera in my hands, I'm just going to give you a quick little here. So this here is the particular bucket. We've been doing the blue bucket. We just call it blue bucket gardening for all of our herbs and such. We started this last year and it's worked really, really well for us. So I've just been picking the seeds off and just dropping them right into this bucket. So hopefully next year this bucket will just be a huge amount of purslane to harvest for relish again next year. Saying that, I don't know how much relish we'll actually go through. I think I already have about 15 jars. So anyways, that's that. We'll do a tour of the garden another day, which will showcase a bit more of all this stuff that we have and how we do it and whatnot. But we're going to go back to harvesting our purslane for now. Oh yes, quick pair of scissors, easy, I cut. And as they say, as I was saying, you want the stems mostly, the leaves, personal preference I guess if you want to remove them. I don't. I think it tastes just fine. I don't ever find it too, I guess some people find it mushy. I have not found that yet in my purslane relish profession. Don't know. I'm too low. I'm gonna go back up here. There. That's better. So, yeah, just cutting, kind of fluffing off anything that's a little bit on the drier side. And into the pot she goes. Pretty easy. Doesn't take long to fill a pot out here. I'll have so much freed up space I'll be able to plant something else. We definitely find it can be invasive if you don't do something with it. I wouldn't leave it growing. But it's a wonderful freebie, and to be honest, our cucumbers are not doing fantastic this year. So I've been getting enough for salads and just general eating, but not enough for relish, cucumbers at this point. We're hoping as it cools off in the fall, maybe we'll see enough to do something with, but for now, this is going to be our relish for the winter. As you can see, barely any time, full bucket. So that's it in the garden for now. We'll take it inside, wash it up, and we'll be on to the next step. So I've washed all the purslane and chopped up most of it. Also gotten the onions and peppers ready. Basically what it is, the recipe calls for 4 cups of chopped purslane, which you can see here. I've got a little bit more to go, and then we will be ready on that. 1 chopped sweet pepper. I prefer red just because I think it looks pretty, but you could do yellow, orange. I've never tried a green. They do have a little bit of a different flavor, so I like the sweet. It's kind of a sweet recipe. And it calls for 2 medium onions. This time in particular I had 1 small, 1 large, so that's what I did. We have a little bit more to go on the chopping. I've got a little bit in here. Basically, purslane's like that. I just chop to a manageable size for my little processor. Nothing fancy. I'm pretty sure it was $39.99, something like that, for this little processor guy. Put them in there. Lid on. Excuse the noise for a moment. I do often find I need to stop midpoint and spatula it all down, because some of the stems are a bit woodier, so they take a little bit longer to get to the size you want. You could, you can puree as small as you'd like. I wouldn't recommend too fine or you'll lose a lot. We like it chunky. We really love the flavor of it. We actually keep most of it chunky. And I'll show that in 1 second here. I'm just going to empty it out so we know we've got the proper measurement. I tend to, if I make a big mess, That's all right. Basically, you have your purslane, pepper, onion, and you're going to sit that in your fridge overnight with salt. Recipe does call for 2 tablespoons of salt to be mixed in this. I tend to do a little bit less. I prefer not to have to rinse as much of the nutrients and goodness out of it. So in order to keep it from being too salty, I tend to use less salt. Whether that's proper or not, I don't know, but it works for us. So I'm going to just take the camera here, and I should also specify non-iodized salt. I do use pickling salt for pretty much everything. It's pretty straight, nothing kind of added to it, which is good as you get a wild ride. So here you can see the purslane, quite chunky. I do, you know, there's even some full leaves still in there. We find it also is very, very nice with crackers, cheese. Also looks really quite pretty. So here you can see we've got the onions. Again, mildly chunky. You don't want it too crazy, but I think it works. So we're going to pop those in. And our red peppers, again, a little chunky. That's how I like it. So there's, of course, you're not going to just fall out easily because that would be too easy. And here we go with one tablespoon. And like I say, the recipe does call for 2. I don't tend to put 2. There we are. And that's basically about it. You're going to mix that in and refrigerate for the evening or overnight. And tomorrow we'll come back to it and finish the recipe and can it up. I will be sure to write the recipe in the bottom in the comments in case anybody is interested. It's sort of a, I guess, blend of multiple recipes I've kind of researched online and tweaked to the way I like. A lot of recipes call for celery seed. We actually prefer dill, so this is kind of a dilly purslane. It's much a similar flavor to a bread and butter pickle, I guess. But anyways, I shall close off this one for now, and we will regroup tomorrow after it's had some time to sit. Have a great day.